everybody, let's start the show, and let's hope that the show runs smoothly. I do fully apologize if there are video chops. I'm experiencing some technical difficulties for some reason today, even though yesterday I did a 2-hour stream and nothing was wrong with it. So we are going to pray collectively right now to the stream gods. Dear stream gods, please allow today's stream to go very, very smoothly, because we have a really awesome guest, and I want everyone to give it up for our guest right now. Everybody, big round of applause for Quarter! And big round of applause for hopefully that prayer reaching the stream god's ears. Yes, okay. Now I'm very excited to have Quarter on the program as long as everything goes. She deserves a nice smooth stream because her music is very smooth. Her music exists somewhere between the ethereal waters of ambient, the sonic textiles of IDM, and the pulsing rhythms of club ready house. We have Bonner. Let me collect my thoughts for a second. Who's that saying hello? Baby Wait, nice to see you. I think the video is being super choppy, but you guys let me know if the audio stays correct today, okay? I don't know what's going on with my stream, but there we go. Back to Quarter. We have a Bonnaroo acid trip to thank for her sonic stylings, and I'm going to get to the bottom of that story, absolutely. She released her debut album, Drenched, in 2020, and in December of last year, she followed that up with her sophisticated and psychedelic sophomore LP, Infinite Ad Nausea. It's an 11-track release that follows a slow descent into madness. I think quarantine may have played a role in that theme. We'll find out. Stay tuned to hear all about it, but in the meantime, we're going to get things warmed up with a taste of that album. This song is called Fractals, and it's going to free your mind. When we come back, we're going to have Quarter on the line, and hopefully the stream isn't going to be too choppy. Fingers crossed, everybody. Pray for us. Everyone, thank you for staying tuned through the technical difficulties, and I do hope that they get a little bit better, but I do like Subverted's comment that if the audio had to chop on anyone, it makes sense for it to be Quarter. So I blame you, Quarter. No, I'm just kidding.
That's true.
Subverted's also saying what a tune Fractals is. It really is such a tune. That was great. That was your choice as an opening song. And of course I had to set it to some fun Fractal visuals because that's just what I do.
Of course.
But why was Fractals the song that you decided to open today's show with?
So Fractals was kind of like the lead single. It's been the most played, definitely like most streamed track of the album, and basically I played like the Elsewhere roof in Brooklyn before the album came out, way before the album came out, and I essentially used that time to just play every single track and see like which ones people were really kind of bopping to so that I could figure out which would be the singles because I had no idea.
Yeah.
And Fractals, like, so I think it's like a cool song obviously, but everyone like lost their minds for that one song. So I was like, okay, that's clearly the single.
It's a jam. I like the idea of someone losing their minds to a song called Fractals because like when I see Fractals, I'm definitely losing my mind.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's not lost on me. There's a reason why it's called that too and whatever.
Yes,
but
I love that. Well, I also want to say you're so fortunate to have had the opportunity to test these tracks out on people because so many people were creating music in quarantine and there was just no sense of humanity in the whole process.
I mean, so this gig was on the Elsewhere roof. Everyone was seated. We weren't allowed to be like dancing yet.
Oh my god, one of the weird quarantine dinner raves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I was playing for 4 hours, and then all of a sudden when Fractals came on, people were standing up at their tables like popping ass,
yes!
like really in it. Like I was like, okay, this like literally got people out of their seats, and like technically that was not allowed at the time.
That's amazing. So, I love that. I love that. Oh wow. Okay, so I want to take things back kind of to the beginning. This is my first time being able to interview you. I want to dig super deep into Infinite Ad Nausea. nausea. Here's a nice, Baby Wait says she saw you play Fractals at Firefly and has a video of it and created the Quarter fan club with a P.O. box because of it. I love that. Drop that P.O. box, Baby Wait. We all want to deliver, we all want to send mail to the fan box. Come on. How is the audio?
Dream.
I want the chat to tell us how the audio is doing as well, because I'm looking at my phone and I can tell that the video is still a little choppy. And if the audio is choppy, I might also get a second recording of the audio just in case for when I share this, it'll be proper. So everyone in the chat, let us know if the audio sounds good or if it sounds doo-doo. And anyway, back to you. Back to you, Megan. I want to hear about your backstory. I was doing my due diligence as a journalist, and I was reading all your interviews, and I found all kinds of fun stuff to ask you about. But no one was really asked, I didn't find if you were born and raised in New York City, if you were born in the area. So, where did you grow up? Did you grow up in Brooklyn?
No. So my dad actually grew up in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
And whatever. I was about to get into a long story about how my parents met, which is not what this is.
Is it interesting?
Anyway,
listen, if it's interesting, then you spill that tea.
Massachusetts.
I'm going to also pull up
It's a long story.
Sorry, I'm making a whole thing. I am going to pull up an audio recording just to make sure that this all gets properly saved. And we're good. Take one. Okay. Yeah. So, is it juicy?
It's sort of, I don't know. It's not worth talking about. But basically, they moved to Massachusetts, and I was born in Western Massachusetts and grew up there. And
the tube ferret just clocked your accent, by the way. Right when you said Massachusetts, the tube ferret was like, Massachusetts?
Oh no, you can tell. I thought I got rid of that.
Amazing.
But yeah, so they moved there. I grew up there. But then when I was 18, I applied to go to NYU for film and got in. And
big round of applause. That's tough to do.
Thank you. So I moved to New York when I was 18, and well, I don't want to age myself, but I've been here for a decade. Go
on and age yourself. It's all good.
Over a decade. And yeah, my dad grew up in Brooklyn, so I have some family here as well, and in New Jersey randomly. But yeah, so I've been here for some time.
Cool. How's Brooklyn doing right now? I've heard that there's kind of a new renaissance happening post-quarantine once vaccines came out. True?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, literally, it was we all got vaccinated and lost our minds, I feel like. I was really going to clubs and feeling a whole different energy, but I don't know if it was just because I had missed it so much, but it really felt like something was different.
Yeah.
People were it's time to dance. It's not stand around time. Yes. We're not here this is serious business. We're gonna have a really good time. So yeah, and I don't know, I feel like I also have kind of rediscovered nightlife in a way. I feel like I'm making an effort to go to things that I might have shrugged off before, or hear new DJs play and people that I hadn't heard before. I'm excited to experience nightlife again in a whole new way, the way I used to, before I even DJ'd. So
yes, I totally understand that too. I think that there's something that comes from, and I think it happens in any discipline or area of creativity, when something becomes kind of your job, some of the sheen of the magic kind of starts to come off. And when you're going to club after club and DJing set after set, you're kind of I don't know, being on that couch looks really good right now, and then you're forced to be on your couch for a whole year, and you're please, enough dinner raves, let me touch somebody else's sweaty body.
Please, no. Exactly. Like I was just so desperate to be in a crowded room with like a bunch of sweaty, stinky people. It was like all I wanted.
Amazing. So
yeah.
where are the best, stinkiest, sweatiest rooms right now in New York? Where do you think the really cool parties are happening these days?
Oh, there's a few places that I've been going to a lot. So I haven't, I haven't been to Mood Ring in a really long time, and I actually feel like I need to go like this weekend. But Mood Ring, sweatiest, stinkiest by far, in my opinion. And then, I mean, nowadays is just like such a good time every time. I've been going to Public Records recently. It's also like closer to where I'm at in Brooklyn, and I also just love that place. Like that venue is so cool. And elsewhere, I love going to elsewhere. And I feel like the Loft can get pretty sweaty and stinky in a good
Yes.
way. Yeah, I don't know, good room. We have so much. It's
I
like,
know.
So I love all of it.
You got to share some with the rest of the world, New York. It's really unfair. You guys
know.
just have a corner on the market. No, but it's great because it facilitates so much connectivity as well, I'm sure. Like, you must just be surrounded by such a cool crew of artists, and I know that you are. And you know what? We're almost getting ahead of ourselves. There's still more about you that I want to learn before we get into the really deep stuff. And the two parents glad that you moved because he says the nightlife is non-existent in Massachusetts and Boston. So
yeah, I don't really know what's going on over there, to be honest. So.
Okay, I heard that when you were a child, your parents bought you all kinds of musical instruments each Christmas. So I want to know, what was the first instrument that your parents got you, and what was the weirdest?
Oh, man. I don't know what the first... That's such a good question. I feel like the first instrument, sort of musical gift, I must have been like 6 or 7 or something.
Wow.
And they got me this like little... It was sort of just like this little speaker that had like a plastic microphone. It was essentially just like a microphone and amp situation. And so I thought I was like a diva singer for some time. And then quarter on the tambourine. I see the chat, by the way.
Good.
I definitely had a tambourine. I had a little, like, this really sick, like, bongo drum that they got me. They got me this electric keyboard one Christmas, and I remember it was, like, all night Christmas Eve. It was just, like, me playing,
oh my gosh,
like, really poorly. The weirdest one, I got a, like, small accordion.
Ooh, wow, okay, Weird Al.
Yeah, I had a small accordion that I was actually talking about last night on stream.
Oh, interesting.
Because I had remembered that I'd gotten it. Many flutes, like wooden flutes.
Recorders.
Yeah, they were just like literally like, they knew I would be happy with anything musical, so that was like a go-to thing.
I love that. Are your parents musical, or are they just weird hippies that were like, yeah, give the kid a bongo?
It's funny, like, my dad, I grew up listening to him, like, blare music in his car. He used to play a lot of, like, freestyle dance music.
Ooh, yes, girl!
That was, like...
Look out, Weekend! Here I come!
Like, Diamond Girl, like, really, the classics.
Those are all classics,
exactly. And so I would, like, hang out with my dad. He'd pick me up, and, like, literally he would just, like, blast, like, destroy my eardrums with freestyle. So he's always liked music in that way. My mom too, I remember she showed me, she had all these like song lyrics that she wrote when she was a teenager.
Yes.
She's like not a great singer though, but she's like, she didn't care. She would just sing at home, and like, so I don't know. I think they just like, it was something that made me happy. And my mom is also so like, I'm her one daughter, so she's very like, you're gonna be a star, like,
oh, yes.
That's like her whole thing. She's
Little
that kind of mom
diva.
for sure.
I love it. Stage
So,
mom. Does she ever show up to
yeah.
your DJ sets and pull some stage mom antics on like the bouncers? Like,
Oh,
excuse
yeah.
me, this who is allowed back here? We need extra space.
And she's like, "That's my daughter." No, she is funny like that. Like, she hasn't been to a DJ set of mine in New York, but I played a couple times in Portugal when I was on like vacation with her. And she would come out to those, and she'd like sit there like right by the DJ booth like this and be like taking video the whole time. Like, it was so like Regina George's like mom when she's like, like that was the vibe for sure.
Man, that's
if
so
she lived
awesome.
closer, I feel like she'd be at everything.
Gotta love a number one fan, mom. Mom is always
Yeah.
our number one fan. That's so fun too. I love that
Totally.
you get to play shows when you're on vacation. Now, what came first, the vacation or the tour date?
Totally the vacation. This was
Yes.
actually the first time I ever played on CDJs was in Portugal, and it was basically I was just starting to DJ. I went on vacation. I did a ton of digging, trying to find like different promoters in this small island, this Portuguese island that my mom grew up in. And I found somebody, and I was like, "Hey, I'm a DJ from Brooklyn." Mind you, like no one knew who I was. Like, I'm nobody.
You got that New York street
And I
cred
was
though.
like-
You're dropping it. You're like, I
Yeah, but
technically
that was
live
it. All
here.
I had to say was like, I'm from New York, and they were like, "Oh, you want to play Saturday night on CD? Like, we have
Damn.
CDJs, whatever." And I was like, "Oh, I've never played on CDJs before. I've only played on my controller." So I like showed up a few hours early, under the guise that I was afraid my like American USB wouldn't work.
Oh yeah, because that's
And-
how that. Yes, it's got different prongs. Different prongs.
Like, yeah, I was like, "I just want to check," and I'm like 2 hours early, and I was just practicing the whole time.
Dude, fucking incredible energy. Yes, boss. Just like we all need to take some of that.
I was just bold.
I need some of that quarter
I wish-
boldness.
I don't know. It comes in spurts. Sometimes I'm like also this like that's me one day, and then the next day I'm like so like suffering from imposter syndrome. So
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm sure it happens to everybody, but at least you've got the confidence. You know what I mean? Like that part's harder to
Yeah.
come by.
totally.
I heard that you started producing in middle school when your dad got you a Sony Vaio Tower PC. Do you remember the first song you ever produced?
Okay, so this actually kind of breaks my heart because I made so many songs and then they all just disappeared because my mom destroyed
No.
that computer.
What? What do you mean she destroyed it?
She absolutely, I don't know what she was doing, but she got some malware on there, and it was like we could not retrieve anything that was on it. So there's one song that I was able to like I had on a CD. That's why I have it.
Yeah.
And I still have it. I have it on my iTunes right now, but it will never see the light of day. It's like never, ever, no one's going to listen to it. Oh my God, my cat is freaking out.
It's okay. I also I'm having the worst issues too. I just realized the audio recording I had set up was not working properly either. So it's just cursed from the beginning. Is your mom fucking up my computer right now? What the fuck? Mom, back up. We're trying
She's
to
like downloading viruses to everybody's shit.
What is happening?
Anyway, yeah, no, I made a bunch of music on Sony
Damn.
Acid Pro, and it's all lost to I don't know whatever these things go. I guess nowhere, but.
Yeah. to computer data heaven, just somewhere out there.
I
They're still
know.
with you.
Rest
you can
in
still
peace.
talk to them. No.
I
Oh,
know.
man.
But I used to use like a PlayStation 2. I had a PlayStation 2 USB microphone
Yes.
that I used as my main microphone, and I would like sample things with it. Had a great time.
I love it.
It was totally LimeWire.
Yeah. Do you feel like you were even at that young age developing the sound that has become what you are still playing with today, or was it just like totally ridiculous, like something else
I mean,
entirely.
Yeah, I think I would say something else entirely. I think at that time I thought I was gonna be like an R&B singer.
Ooh, yeah,
So
okay, that's right. You were a diva, of course. You are the star.
I used to like do chorus and stuff, and I had a really good voice until I hit puberty. So like it simply went away.
I'm not sure. Are we sure it went away? Are we sure you're not just being hard on yourself?
No. I was really so like I could be like on pitch. I was so good. I used to be like the girl that would do the solos. Like that was my thing. And then like 12, 13, my voice changed, and then I just didn't work on it enough to like adapt to that change. I just kind of gave up because I was so discouraged. But yeah, so I was like doing something very different then.
Is that around the time that you decided to move from out of under the spotlight to behind the lens? What inspired you to be a film major?
Yeah, so okay, actually kind of so I was like, singing's not gonna work. My voice changed and I can't sing anymore. So
we love
I got
a
into
pivot.
theater, and I was like, I'm an actress now. And so I was doing so I was like, whatever, in all the plays in high school, I was like getting leads when I was a sophomore. I was like, I am an actress. And then I started applying for colleges. And my dad, he was like, so what are you thinking of majoring in? And I was like, theater. And he just, for some reason, my family has been so supportive my whole life, but something about me being a theater major, my dad was like, you're out of your fucking mind.
Oh no, he must have been crossed by a theater nerd once upon a time.
He was like, you are not majoring in theater. And I was like, okay.
Well, I gave up on that dream real quick.
I know. Well, the thing is like, I don't know. Growing up, I was just a bored kid. So like I did everything under the sun creatively just to like do something. I was always at home. I was like the youngest. I was the only girl. I was like just always by myself and bored. So I also used to do like stop motion videos when I was a kid, and like really I did do like a lot of video work. So yeah, my dad was like, you are not gonna do that. Moody. Anyway, so yeah, I did have like a thing with video. I was doing YouTube when it was like very not cool. It was like 2006, 2007. None of that's online anymore.
We scrubbed it. We had mom play with that computer too. We were like, just do your thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's gone. So my dad was like, listen, I know you want to like act in movies, whatever. And he was like, but if you think about it, when you look at the credits of a movie, like you see how many names are in the crew. He was like, those are jobs. Those are all jobs.
Wow.
And
shout out, real talk.
I was like, that's a good point. And I was like, that's a good point. So then I was like, I'm gonna major in film. And I'm glad I did, because now when I was in film school, I was specializing in post-production. So I was doing like sound design and editing.
Oh shit.
And so like all that stuff is totally informing what I'm doing now, like 100%.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
That is incredible. I was thinking, like, I wonder what you learned in film school that translated over to what you're doing now. But bam, there it is. All this beautiful texture and, like, world building sounds. Like, oh, it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense. Before we go too much further, though, I do want to ask, because Baby Weight and Mood Tunes were wondering, who are your Mount Rushmore of pop divas? Back when you thought you were going to be an R&B superstar, who are the vocalists that most inspired?
Aaliyah. I was absolutely obsessed with Aaliyah. Literally, I was in like a depression when she passed away.
Oh God,
I was, like,
that was so sad and
so sad.
Yeah.
Aaliyah, 100%. Selena, another one who left too soon. But I was obsessed with Selena as well. There was this other artist that I really liked who, I'm not sure exactly where she's from, but she sang majority in Spanish. Her artist name is Lilia. And so I was really into Jennifer Lopez. I was really into, these are all like kind of, you know, these Hispanic women that I was, because I'm half Puerto Rican. So it was like looking up to these women. Thalia I was like really obsessed with. But then as I got older, it was Aaliyah. It was, you know, it was Britney Spears, obviously.
The classics.
Trying to think like who, I'm thinking of all the CDs I have.
Yes, exactly. Flipping through all those covers. That's
TLC.
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
I can feel these vibes. I feel like I can even pick up on this. I mean, when I listen to your music, I was kind of describing it in my intro. Like, it's got all this really wonderful pulsing rhythm, but it's got this very ethereal, like, ambient touch to it. And that does kind of remind me of some of these R&B songstresses that you're talking about. Maybe particularly Aaliyah. She's got that very weird, cool. And the vocals that you work with always have this kind of, like, distant-y like vibe to them. They're not trying to be the biggest belter in the world, and it's kind of almost talk singy sometimes, and Aaliyah had a very coolness about her like that. So I don't think you've strayed too far from those roots. Totally. But we've picked up a lot of new tools along the way, right? Like we're not just there.
Yes.
Speaking of things you picked up along the way, I heard that you decided to follow your dream, or you decided to be a DJ thanks to an acid trip at Bonnaroo. True story?
That's correct.
Whose set pushed you over the edge that night? What was so inspiring?
Oh my God. Okay. So, essentially, okay, so it was my very first music festival, Bonnaroo 2014, Frank Ocean, Kanye West, Oof. Like really crazy lineup. And I did acid for the very first time. And
the first time's always a slayer.
It was something, that's for sure. But basically, I was just kind of roaming around the festival, trying to make sense of everything that was going on. And then it was like the festival was kind of dying down for the night. And I think it was Saturday night. And I was like still awake and very much awake and wanted to experience something else. And I heard like bass in the distance. And all the stages are like closing down at this point. So I was like, I need to go wherever that is. So I went, and it was this art car from Phoenix, and there was this small lady DJing, and it was Miha before people knew who Miha was.
Amazing.
She had come on this art car from Phoenix, because she's from Phoenix, and she was playing, and apparently she was a promoter in Phoenix at the time. Skrillex happened to be one of the headliners, or one of the artists that year. And she had known Skrillex, I believe, prior, because she was a promoter or something. Anyway, she's basically playing this like total like rogue, you know, set, not build, not a plan that Bonnaroo had.
Oh my God.
And then Skrillex showed up. Yeah, this is the Miha back-to-back Skrillex.
Oh my God!
He showed up in a golf cart. Suddenly they were going back-to-back. It's literally, this moment is why Miha is who she is now.
And it's why you're who you are now. I'm loving this story. I'm sorry, keep going.
Yeah, and so the sun was rising. Skrillex gets on the mic and is like, "We are the sun people." My acid brain, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is going to change me forever. And it did. Like, it did. And yeah, they played like a really cool kind of like house set. Because I think Miha was doing a lot more house at the time. And it was just something I had never really experienced before, like that kind of house music. It was kind of like bordering tech house, and it was like fun and like it's not like brooding techno. It's not like too classic house. There was something funky about it that I'd never experienced before. And I was like, I need this in my life. And then, within like 6 months, I got my first controller. I downloaded Ableton, and I was like, time to bring little baby Megan back.
Yes. She's found her place behind the decks, ladies and gentlemen.
So that was the moment.
That is so awesome.
And I got to finally meet Miha Amber in real life this past summer, and I told her the story.
Oh my God, was she so honored? I can't imagine.
I was like, that night changed my life, and she was like, me too. So
I can't wait to find out who else was in the crowd that day. You know, it's like have you ever heard the story about how there was this one Sex Pistols concert in Manchester, England in like 1970 fucking whatever, and there was like 7 people that showed up to the fucking thing, and it was in some like rec center or something. But of the people in that audience, it was like Morrissey, who goes on to, you know, and Johnny Marr from the Smiths or whatever, like somebody from, I think the Joy Division guys were out there, like the people from that whole scene basically like went off and formed bands, and they were just like, I don't know, we were like the 7 kids that showed up for the Sex Pistols concert, and it changed everything. I mean, you know, I'm just saying, I love stories where it all comes together later and you're like, everyone was there, we were there. That is just so fun.
Yeah, it was very special. Sorry, I'm seeing baby weight in the... Were you there? Hold on. Nothing I've ever experienced.
Yeah, were you? Or maybe she's saying... Really that would be like literally everything I was just saying right now. I'm like, we're discovering the importance of this moment. So cool. Or she's just eternally jealous. One of the two. I love that you know, there's that confidence again, though. Like, you know, a lot of people have a lot of awakenings while they're on acid and then never do that thing. So kudos to you for actually sticking with the thought you had while you were on another planet. Sun People. So you'll have to make an EP called We Are the Sun People one day.
I know.
How did your cat learn to produce? Did you teach your cat?
So basically, I was working on my first album, Drenched, and I had a track open, and I had created some really like ethereal pad that I was using, and I had my Ableton push on, and I was using that as my MIDI instrument, and I stepped into the kitchen, and all of a sudden I heard like this wondrous sound coming from my studio, and I was like, what the hell is that? And it was my cat just like sitting her ass on the push. And so I took a video. I thought it was really funny. I was like, I literally said this to my girlfriend. I was like, this is about to blow up on Twitter. It's going to get like 300 likes. And I posted it. And then I think I had like a gig the next day or something. I was like at a gig opening for Tiga.
Ooh, nice.
I was like getting all these notifications on my phone. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And it just went completely viral.
Wow.
Like, I think the last time I checked, it was like 25 million impressions or something like that. And all these publications were posting my cat. It was like Mixmag posting my cat. And I was like, what is going on?
You're like, hi, and, I also make music. Please talk to me.
I know. I was like, okay, this is cool, but also it's fucked up. And then I was like, I need to milk this. What am I supposed to do? So I was like, this is going to be my new ambient project.
I love it. And Ambient Kitty was born. Incredible. Shout out Ambient Kitty. Is Ambient Kitty still working hard? Is she... Am I was gendering correctly? I don't know.
Yes, it is a she. Okay. Ambient Kitty is a she. She is definitely still working hard. So she made an appearance on the last album. I used her purring as percussion.
Ooh, percussion, so get it? I love it.
So yeah, she's doing great. I really want to do another like Ambient Kitty EP eventually. Just kind of need to find time for it.
I love that. Okay, well, we're definitely getting to the time when we're going to start talking about the album. We've actually been talking for quite a while, although we did start the stream late. I want to play your remix for Phil Anker, Safe Place, that you suggested we jam to. And then when we come back, we will go straight into the album and hear all about this. Anything you want to say about this remix before we play it?
Sure. So I met online through, I believe, my like Luzaskora whole Sasha compilation thing, and I've just been a fan. Wait, was it that? I think I've just been a fan of his, actually. And I was playing a lot of his music in my sets, like during quarantine. Anyway, so I followed him. He followed me back. We're now fans of each other. And he randomly was like, do you want to remix a song? And I heard it, and I was like, I love the song. This would be an honor. And yeah, I'm proud of the remix. It's one of my favorites that I've done for sure.
Good. Okay, well, we're gonna jam to it, and when we come back, we will get all into Infinite Ad Nausea. So don't go anywhere.
I take my own and show myself safe to your love. I found my new way. I found my safe place in love. My safe place.
And we're back. Although we never went anywhere because we were in the chat the whole time. The whole time it was us. We were actually just talking about the magic of live streams and how, Quarter, you were really involved during quarantine. That was maybe what kept you sane, but you said that you had to get your setup correct because I'm sure it's really weird when you're DJing. It's such a moment of connecting with the crowd, and then all of a sudden here you are next to your plamps, and you're just like, why am I doing this? What the fuck is this?
I really hated it at first. It felt so weird. I would get sad. But it was really, it was just a matter of like getting it all set up where I can see the chat and like really be able to interact with people. And I like love it now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know some DJs are like, we're just back to the world and we don't want to do it anymore. But I'm glad that you found something that you truly enjoy. Plus you've got Neon, and that's all it takes to be a good streamer, I'm pretty sure. I don't have any, of course, which is why my stream is fucked up. Yeah. That's it. Okay, I do, though, want to talk about the album. I love the album title. I'm a big fan of just the phrase ad nauseum, but of course yours is Infinite Ad Nausea, which I think just paints a really great picture of just being fucking sick and tired of something. And you created this album in quarantine. So what was it that you were sick and tired of? Was it the fucking quarantine? Or was it DJ sets on Twitch? No, you learned to love it. Talk to me about
Is that like too on the nose?
No, I love it. I love it. But talk to me about the creative process behind creating this story. Were you just losing your mind?
Yeah, I was absolutely losing my mind. And the thing is like I debuted as quarantine started, and that album was about being depressed because I was like working a job that was like 12-hour days, and I never saw my friends, and I was like working so hard to like get this music project off the ground. So when I did have free time, I was working on music, but it was this maddening experience where I was just like, yes, I want to be doing this, but I'm so sad. Like, and I'm making this music while being so sad. And it was just this like, perpetual thing. It was perpetuating itself.
Right.
And that was my first album. then COVID hits.
Oh God.
Right. And so
I
was like, man. And it was like, I remember right before COVID hit, I had just gotten like this gig offer to play my first like Miami Music Week, and I was gonna get flown out for the first time ever, and then it all just went to shit. And I was like, is this a joke? Like, what is the timing of this? And immediately I just started working on more stuff. My manager, Alex English, he was like, you have to keep working or you're gonna like, I'm worried about you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, let's just distract as much as possible. And that's why I was working so hard during the whole thing. And the album, I mean, it's literally about the feeling of like, it's about life feeling like you're living on a loop, like you'll never get out of something. And that's what quarantine felt like. It was like, you know, same day, every day. And it was also like, you know, I have a really, obviously like a real relationship with psychedelics in my life. It's been like a big part of, I feel like, my evolution as a person. And it's also like, if you've ever been on psychedelics or you've been very stoned, you might have had a paranoid moment where you think, this is never going to end. Yes. And that is what all of quarantine felt like, is that paranoid moment just every day. And so I was like, how do I like translate that into music, into an album, into a concept? And that's it.
Man, heavy fucking shit. I love it though. And I read that you purposefully organized the tracks on the album to kind of move from the lightest, brightest moment to the just most frenetic and insane. So we all we all get to relive that terrible Groundhog Day of quarantine as well. But you made it sound enjoyable, I have to say. I like your take on it more than I liked 2020.
That's good. Well, it's really funny. This moment happened while I was on tour with Latrell, where I was selling merch after a show. This actually happened in my home base, Brooklyn, New York. Hey. And this drunken lady comes up to the merch booth. She doesn't know who I am. I'm just the girl who played before Latrell.
Okay.
And she goes, "What's all this?" And it's like merch for the album, so it says Infinite Ad Nausea. And I was like, "Oh, it's merch for my new album." And she's like, "What does that say?" And I was like, "Infinite Ad Nausea, that's the name of my album." And she's like, "What's that mean?" And I told her, and she was like, "That's bad vibes."
No way!
Like, yeah. I was like, that's the point.
Yeah. She wasn't ready for that shit. It's fine. She'll wake up 5 years later
some
like,
people aren't.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm here for it though. I'm ready for it. I was a goth kid growing up, so I just love to wallow in my fucking uncomfortable feels.
Sulk.
Like
it's the best.
It's like, you gotta move through things. You can't just ignore them. But when a drunk lady's not ready to have that conversation, obviously.
She was not.
I like
not at all.
I like the story behind the album too, when considering the album cover artwork is so fucking good. And it does also capture that feeling of just being like, I'm trapped in some sort of weird reality where all I see is myself.
Yeah. No, totally. So my partner, the love of my life, Bren Harrigan, she does like basically all my visual stuff right now. And I told her, we sat down, I basically word vomited everything that the album meant.
I do that too.
She was like, yeah. And she was like, I think I already know exactly what the visual needs to be.
Yes.
And we did a photo shoot, and I remember the second we saw that one, there was this one photo, which ended up being the artwork, and we were both like, that's it. Like, oh my God, that's it.
It's so good. It's so good. And it puts you right at the center. You're still the star. Look, Mom, it's me. I'm surrounded by my ennui, and I love it.
Exactly. My mom is gonna flip when she gets the vinyl. She's gonna.
Oh my God!
She's
stop.
probably gonna frame it.
I'm already excited for her. Just don't let her play with it too hard, or she might break it. I want to hear how the work on this album. I want to hear how the work on this album pushed you creatively. I mean, I can only imagine that there was so much growth on this album. I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of growth on this album. There are really just so many wonderful highs and weirds. I love the what's it called? Nosa? Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but the interlude, I love that you were having fun like that.
Yeah.
But especially if you're just stuck inside and you're just working on this album to keep yourself sane, what how did you grow? How do you remember, were there aha moments? Like, how did you push yourself on making this?
Yeah. So a lot of it, I would say like half of the album was me pulling from like my work in progress folder from the last, 5 years or whatever since I started this project, and trying to reimagine those songs, taking pieces of those things. So there was like an element of taking what I'd already worked on, but basically it was like I created this sort of like sound design palette with my debut album. And so it was done, like that work was done. And then the second album was all about just like elevating
Love that.
my production. And it was like I'd created sort of like a sound for myself with sound design. And now it was about just making it more complex, and really like getting into like this conceptual idea. And there was a lot. The thing is like, it was like, obviously quarantine was terrible, but it was all this time that I suddenly had. So I could really like spend a lot of time working on music. And so it was just, I just had so much more time to work on it and get better. And I feel like I grew so much as a producer in the process. I like hearing Drenched and then hearing the second album. It's like, you really tell, I think.
Yeah, no, I think it's a wonderful work. And I've seen such a wonderful response for the album online as well. Like I've had people on this show shout you out, and I've seen on all the blogs and the people, I'm in the little writer circle, and everyone's just talking about it, which I think is such a wonderful thing to come out of a dark period like quarantine with. And especially after hearing that like your first album is this battle with depression and kind of sitting in that. And it's nice to hear that maybe there was a bright end of the tunnel, even if you had to sit through even more uncomfortableness to get there. How are you feeling with your baby out in the world? And are you sensing that some of those opportunities that kind of fell apart at the beginning of 2020 are starting to rematerialize? Are you able to pick things back up now and take off running?
Yeah. I mean, it really feels like I got like a second chance to do a debut album again.
Right. How special is that?
It feels like a complete redo.
It's so cool.
Yeah, because in some, Drenched obviously is my first album and Infina is my second, but like this, in a lot of ways, this album, I'm so incredibly proud of it. It feels like a first to me, because it just feels like an entirely new chapter, and it feels like I finally am close to what I envisioned for this project, and things are becoming cohesive. Like my biggest struggle in the beginning of Quarter was, how do I match my productions with my DJ sets? It was like really hard, because I felt like I had really good taste and my productions weren't bad, but it still wasn't like perfect.
Yeah.
And then this album, it was like, I was like, oh, I will play songs in a DJ set and like, and not feel it like scared or shy about it or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just, I really feel like I got a redo. Like it's so cool, the reception. I fucking Pitchfork like wrote about, like it's like never in my wildest dreams, like it's been so cool.
Yeah. And you are in fact coming to Florida. You're coming for the Dirty Bird Camp-In next week. I have my dates right?
Oh my God, is it that soon?
I think February's almost over, girl.
I think it is.
Not to put you on blast or nothing, but no, but that's awesome.
No,
I know
I'm
you're
so
gonna have
excited
fun.
for that. Yeah. I'm like, I'm just like, I feel like I don't think I have not been to like a Dirty Bird festival type of thing. So this is gonna be my first. So I'm very excited for that. And I also just like, I feel like I haven't played Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really excited, and I feel like
should
it's gonna be crazy because it's like in a resort and stuff. I don't know. But
Yes,
yeah.
it's totally going to be weird. It's in Orlando, which I can say is probably one of the weirder parts of Florida. And the Dirty Bird crew is super weird. Baby Wait, are you going to be there? I hope you are. And you can recreate the Sun People moment. You can go play a Renegade set somewhere and fucking change somebody else's life and be like, you.
That's true.
It'd be so good. And this also brings
Yeah.
me... Oh, sorry. Continue. I think there's a little bit of a delay between us, so if you have anything to say, I don't want to stop you.
No, it's so funny. I'm using my phone as a camera and just tried to call me, so I'm just
Oh, I didn't even notice.
I'm like,
Listen,
what's going on?
this stream is
So, yeah.
trapped in a fucking fractal of disaster, and we're just living through it, and it's fine. We are doing our fucking
It's so
best.
classic.
But it's good. We're loving it. I want to talk also about the stellar remixes that you got for this album. I mean, some of truly my favorite producers are tapping some of your tunes. And I bring it up because I believe VNSSA is going to be at Dirty Bird Campin'. I could be wrong, but she has a wonderful remix of your song Rewind that we're going to play at the end of our chat. But what is it like to get other artists' interpretation of your fucking madness diary that is this album?
Yeah. So I like it's just been completely an honor. We honestly, all of these remixes, like, no one's getting paid. We're just exchanging remixes for each other. Like, it's like really, like, I can't believe so many people were interested, and like the remixes have all been so good, and it's been so cool to hear like the way people completely reimagine things, what pieces they keep or get rid of. Like, it's been sick. I there's been another like beautiful aspect of this album, and there was like a strategy behind it. Vinyl production has been really slow. So we were just like, let's drag this out. But it's been so cool. Like, I'm so glad it worked out this way.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it was only, it was only good.
Absolutely. I also love what you said. I mean, it's very fascinating to hear that, like, everything is this kind of exchange-based relationship, too, which is so cool because that means you get to remix all of these people, which is such an honor as well, I can only imagine. But that also just makes me feel like through writing this album, you've also created a sense of community for yourself as an artist, which is also such a beautiful opposite to the isolationism that kind of inspired the whole project. Like, what a wonderful way for that to just have turned itself around. Have you thought about that at all, or do you feel that sense of growing community?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And I think for a while, just it's my nature to kind of be solo. I really, because I grew up as like the bored, lonely kid, it's kind of my safe place to like do things on my own, to have like something that was so freeing about music production that is different from film is like, you don't need a crew. You can just do it by yourself, and you can do it whenever you want. And I think I found that to be really restricting in film, because for a while I was like, oh, I might want to direct, but it was like so many moving parts, so many people you need to rely on, so much waiting that has to happen to like get things in order. And what was so cool about music production to me was that I could, if I felt inspired, I could just do it on my laptop. Yeah. And so it is like something that I really like doing alone, but I am so glad that I've learned how to open it up to other people, whether it's through collaborations or remixes, because what is so special about dance music is the community. Like that's what is about it. So to like be able to have that and also like kind of get friendly with all these people I look up to. Like, that has been so crazy. Like, Daedalus' remix just premiered today.
Oh my god, that's
tonight.
right. That is like so crazy.
Yeah, like I was listening to Daedalus in 2016 before I was like, before I even released anything as Quarter. And so it's just been so cool. I feel like now I have a whole new way to approach like working with other people, and I'm so excited to collaborate with people more and more. Like, I feel like that is definitely the trajectory I want to be on. It's like more collaboration. So it's just been, it's been such a great experience in that way.
That's so awesome. I can't wait to see what you do in more of a collaborative sense. I feel like that it too is such an awesome way to learn and expand what your tools are and your horizons. And I don't know, it's very exciting. And Baby Wade says you can direct her music video. So your director days aren't over. You should still get behind the lens and make some fun. Bring the vlogs back.
Oh my god.
You should make
Oh, I haven't done anything.
You should make a video at Campin'.
Yes, wait. We need an offline about this. Wait.
You make it happen.
We'll discuss.
You'll make it happen. Okay, I thank you so much. We're just topping over an hour. And I just want to say thank you for rocking with me through the tough technical bits here and there. But it's been such a pleasure having you. And if there's hey, come on, producer Kitty, get on in here.
Are you joking? Oh my god, it's like, you can't end yet. I need to introduce myself.
She's like, I wasn't interviewed. What the fuck? It's so cute. Oh, that's okay.
That was such perfect timing.
I know. Do you have anything you want to add, Ambient Kitty? When any collabs coming? Collabs between the two of you? I heard it.
Shooting shy.
I heard it though. Oh my gosh, Chatty Cathy. I love it. The cat calls we came for. That is correct, Aurora.
I know.
Oh my god. Okay, so
funny.
precious. But wait, is there anything else that you want to say, that you want to shout out, that you want to just leave the people with while we still have your time?
Yeah, well, everyone who's tuned in, thank you for tuning in. This was so fun. Thank you for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
And a blast. And yeah, I think we're ending it with VNSSA remix because Dirty Bird Campin', and it's a great remix.
It is.
But the Daedalus remix does come out tonight, and it's absolutely bonkers. So stream it.
As is to be expected. Yeah, Daedalus is always bringing the good bonkers shit. So I'm very excited to see that you got that again. Like, wow, what an awesome set of people to jump on board and touch your stuff. I don't know. I almost my brain just almost said something weird and I had to stop myself. I apologize. My goodness.
That's a great way to wrap it up.
I know. I'm going to cut it out while I'm ahead. I'm already 2 leagues behind. It's fine. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll have to do this again sometime when the computer gods want to be nicer to us. And are you by any chance gonna stay in Florida and come have a redo of Miami Music Week?
Let's just say there are some things in the works. Nothing announced yet. Who knows? But it's looking likely.
Okay, good. I like to hear that. I will be there, so maybe we can do a little bit of fun in the streets. We can do something. I
would love that.
The technology won't fuck us up if I'm.
Yes.
We'll do something fun. Something we can fix and post. It'll be good.
Yes. Sounds good.
Yay. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad we finally made it happen. And enjoy camping.
Me too.
Bye.
I will definitely. Bye.